Thank you, Father Alexander, Reverend Father Becker, Reverend Fathers, honored guests, and of course, my brothers. My vocation story begins like many others with my family. I was born and raised Catholic, so that means that we went to Mass every week, sometimes more often than that. We'd try and pray together as a family. The most important thing for me was they just taught me how to pray, just to give a couple minutes to the Lord every day. My family is also unique because I have twin brothers who are priests and a third brother who was in seminary for 4 years. And they really provided a great witness to the faith and just incredible witness to this reality that the Lord has a plan for my life and that I can know what that plan is. So growing up, a lot of my prayer was just directed towards that. Lord, show me what you want me to do with my life. And so the first time I felt the call to the priesthood was I was in 6th grade. I was sitting in the church after school, I was just praying, waiting for a ride home, and this idea just popped in my head, like, you could be a priest. And at first, surprisingly, I went along with it. I was like, that's pretty cool. And that lasted about a month, at which point I came with all the usual excuses. You know, I'm not holy enough, I want to get married. My personal favorite, I want to have a real job. You know, so I thought, I got all these great reasons why I shouldn't do this. You know, that should be enough. It would go away. The only problem was, the idea kept coming up. Whenever I'd pray, Lord, what do you want me to do with my life? It'd be there again. And so I figured, well, there's something wrong with my prayer. I got to change this up. And so I started crafting these prayers specifically against the priesthood. I'd be like, Lord, show me what you want me to do with my life, but make it really clear so I know you're not calling me to be a priest. And that was just the attitude I took forward just in prayer, just going into high school. And in high school, that was the place where my faith really started to take off. I started going on retreats, just encountering the Lord. And once again, most importantly, that small prayer time, it started turning from just me talking to empty space and just throwing these things up there to a real conversation. You know, there was someone there that I was talking to. But I still was not open to what the Lord wanted. And that would change my junior year of high school. So leading up to my junior year, I was really interested in architecture. I really loved it. I found I had just kind of a passion for it. And so I got this amazing opportunity where as a junior in high school, I could take a college-level architecture class. So for a couple hours every day, I'd leave the school where I was at, and then I would go over to another school, and I would just do architecture type stuff. I'd draw floor plans and all these other things. And I loved it. It was great. I enjoyed it a lot. But then I would go home at the end of the day, and I'd just kind of look toward the future, and I'd be like, you know, what's that going to look like? And there was something missing. And I just saw, like, even though I enjoy this, I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to find fulfillment in this. And that shook me. I was like, Lord, what do I do now? What can I turn to? Where am I going to find this? Where am I going to find these answers? And then he just started to show me these things just about myself. I started to see that I had a real passion for my faith, just a desire to share that with other people. You know, I just saw a desire to share God's mercy I'd experienced in confession, his love in the Eucharist. I also just remembered, again, this great witness to the joy of the priesthood that I saw in my brothers, and just other holy priests that I had seen, and I wanted that. I knew there was something they had that I wanted. And so as I started to see these things, I started to realize more and more, like, man, maybe there is something here. Maybe I am called to the priesthood, or at least called to seminary. But I wasn't still totally on board with the idea. But that would change, you know, towards the end of my junior year in the spring. I went on a retreat. And just on this retreat, the priest was processing around with the monstrance. And just as he processed by me, I was just inspired just to pray. You know, just, Lord, wherever you call me to go, I will go. You know, I had prayed that before, you know, many times in the past, but I never actually meant it. And this time there's actually meaning behind those words. And I was just filled with conviction that I was called to go to seminary. And so I followed up with, Lord, I feel that you're calling me to go to seminary, and I will go. And just after I said that prayer, I was just filled with just this great lasting peace and a great joy in the idea that I hadn't had before. And so at that point, I knew, like, I got to do this. And so I contacted my vocations director. I went on a Vianney visit on the fall of my senior year. And just on the Vianney visit, I just felt really at home. Once again, just more of that peace, more of that joy. It's like, all right, I'm making the right choice. And then later in the spring, I got my application. I was accepted in seminary that fall. And now that I've been in seminary for 2.5 years, I can honestly say that there's no place where I'd rather be. And as I look back over my life and just see the Lord guiding me and the great patience that he had in getting me here, all I can say is, praise be Jesus Christ. Amen.